It's not Black Lives Matter versus not, it's racist versus anti-racist. It's just becoming very, very tribal in that you're saying it's one side or another. Pick a side and that's it. You don't have, people are unable to make their own minds up about anything. You have to conform to one side or another. And that then just makes everybody see, if every aspect of your life is for or against, what team are they on? Are they on my team or are they on the other team? Like everything in life is binary. Well, that's just a massive oversimplification of life for a start, but it's also going to completely tear itself to pieces in one way where there'll be some colossal clashing of whatever, and from the ashes, who knows what will rise. Like, who benefits from that? The individual doesn't benefit, society doesn't benefit, because that individual is not able to release their full potential, because from such a young age they're being told that you're never going to be what you want to be, so you may as well never try. Now you can take that the two ways, and there's no shortage of people on either side politically, and it's tough because everything has almost become more about race now than it ever was, which I feel is the opposite way we were meant to be being taught. There was 5 years ago, the message was, I don't see race. That is the best thing you can do. The one thing we can strive to do is eventually just not see race. But then there's so much, it's a stupidly simplistic argument to go down that route, because what it then does is detract from all of the positive things about, it basically says that every human being is completely the same. It says that, your experience is no different to my experience, and that my experience is no different to somebody who was born in London, and their experience is. So the idea that you can't see race was has now become everything is about race. And I feel that's extremely detrimental as well, because there are there are things that come from a culture, there are things that come from a race that define an individual, and that is that is how society, and certainly the Western world, has progressed by having different people from different colours, creeds, whatever, all coming into new places and bringing with them the best parts of that to make society more vibrant, to make society better. And so if we're then being told, well, you can't see that, and then to just ignore that, that's detrimental. And then if you're being told, actually, you can only see that, well, how do we blend? How do we mix? How do we further anything together? What's your... it feels bizarre, because I think this is one of the things we briefly touched on when we last spoke, is that I would never have thought twice about, saying, oh, hey, just getting to know you. But suddenly it becomes really, I need to be aware that everything, that you and I are of different races, and that is always going to put a wedge between us in some way. If I can't just see you as a friend, as a individual, then it's always going to make stuff more awkward. And I feel, despite me agreeing with a lot of the messages being posted on social media, that we need to be more aware of injustices, that the message is being done in such a hostile way that it's just making this a lot more awkward than I feel it ever would have been before, to a point that I feel it's actually worsening race relations. And without being melodramatic, to follow this down the way it went when there was the message, it's not Black Lives Matter versus not, it's racist versus anti-racist. It's just becoming very, very tribal in that you're saying it's one side or another. Pick a side and that's it. You don't have, people are unable to make their own minds up about anything. You have to conform to one side or another. And that then just makes everybody see, if every aspect of your life is for or against, what team are they on? Are they on my team or are they on the other team? Like everything in life is binary. Well, that's just a massive oversimplification of life for a start, but it's also going to completely tear itself to pieces in one way where there'll be some colossal clashing of whatever, and from the ashes, who knows what will rise. But if we fail to say that human beings are intrinsically complicated, intrinsically messy, and intrinsically different, then how can we try to make this utopian society, this furtherment, this betterment of society that, in theory, anyone who's being a social media activist should be claiming to want? If people are posting stuff about injustice in the world, you would hope that the reason behind that is because they want eventually there to be a society that is better. But there just seems to be so much one-upmanship. It's us. It's my team versus your team, and it's just about beating the other side rather than making everything better. I don't know if I've described that too well. Maybe how does that sound to you?
No, I understand what you're saying, and yeah, I like some of the points you made. For example, you mentioned I just wanted to add, when talking, you said the school you went to, the college you went to, it had a focus on high merit, high reward.
Mm.
So the way I view that, I agree with that statement, high merit, high reward. To me, it showcases meritocracy. So even me, myself too, when I was attending, I was on scholarship as well. And I attended, and I did quite well for myself, went to university, read engineering. So, and I was only there for 2 years. So for me, that focus of high merit, high reward has been programmed into me. From not so much where has it been programmed into me. Number one is just my own personal life, just the way I progress through life, the things I do. But mostly, again, it's through American culture. That's why I've really got that meritocracy programming. So for me, it's that's how I always view things, that the more opportunities I take, the more activities I do, the more I push myself, the more I'll unlock my potential, and the more I'll succeed. And for me, it just becomes accelerative. So you move on from events to events, and you're succeeding, and you're doing well, and it just becomes, you increase more, you move on more and more, and you do better. So for me, the way I always view it is, I always view there's nothing I cannot do, of which man born of woman can do. You understand?